What is up, everyone? Today's video is going to be suggestions from you guys in the YouTube discussion posts. I'm going to be doing these about once every 2 weeks, and let's just get into it. But before we get started, I do want to mention that The Den, Stride Esports' podcast with all the Stride members, just came out with its first episode. So if you go down to Stride GG, sign up, you are able to watch it. The link will be in the description right at the top. I would appreciate it, but let's get on to the topics y'all want to talk about. Basically, whatever topping that y'all want me to talk about, you have here, and if it's a quick one, I can do it quickly, and if it's a longer one, maybe I'll spend a couple minutes. In Visigear, how about a video on what to look for / focus on when picking up a new character? So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that that character meshes with how you want to play. If you're someone that likes to go edgeguard, you should be playing an edgeguarding character. If you like a character with a good recovery, you should be playing a character with a good recovery, because your decision making and your mental processes, like when you get hit, are going to be very different. It's why I ended up dropping Min basically immediately when offline came back, because I was like, I can play this character even though she has a bad recovery, and I'm very used to having good recoveries all the way from melee because I played Samus and then Pikachu, but it'll be fine. And then I would get hit at 0% anytime I played Min and think I was dead, or have to mash at a disadvantage because I was too scared, and so the character didn't mesh with me. Obviously, things like your movement, trying to figure out like basic combos, like 2 pieces, 3 pieces is always going to be super important, and then just learning how your character deals with various things, whether it's neutral, advantage, disadvantage, like what their options are, and then seeing what you're getting punished for, what's working, and just kind of build up your flowchart from there. From that point, then you can start looking at pro players and see what they do to see if you're missing something like obvious. Like, there have been several lessons that I've had with like cloud players that are like, I don't know how to get big open ups, and they're getting back airs at 30 and not doing back air into dash attack, which leads to an offstage advantage state, or, back air into tech chase into side B, like whatever they're doing, it's just not quite correct, and so they're not getting the big damage like Spargo, and then they're getting hit at low percent and dying because they play an edgeguardable character. So definitely, before you actually pick up the character, just understand how their stats are, and then once you start playing them, just play, for fun, and make sure that you're enjoying the character and enjoying playing them, because if you're already immediately frustrated when you start playing a character, even when you get better with them, that probably is a sign that if you lose, you're going to have a bad time. From BuzzTour, we have how to pick a stage. That can honestly be a relatively simple question, but also it can be a complicated question depending on who you want to prioritize, because there's already 2 theories as to what stage you want to pick / ban, because I'll say that, which is, do you want to focus on your strengths and weaknesses or your opponent's strengths and weaknesses, right? And that's basically all it is, because if you want to play a character, like if you play a character that has really early killing off of the side, you might want to counterpick to PS2 or Town. If you have a character with good vertical killing, you might want to ban Kalos in Town. At the same time, you can think of your opponent's character, like let's say I play Pikachu, right? I love Town and City. It's one of Pikachu's best stages. I've been banning Town and City a lot recently because I don't want my opponent to get early cheesy kills. I want to extend my stocks because Pikachu can be hard to hit, so I'm playing with that strength more than I want the early kills, I want the flat stage, and it's been working really well because I haven't been losing as much to Roy's or character, like even on like online tournaments, I haven't been dropping random games to characters I feel like I shouldn't, that I'm like getting, Roy side beat at 60 at the ledge. Like, that's not happening as much. So it really depends, right? The things to think about are your combo game. Do you like platforms? Your disadvantage game. Do you like landing on platforms or flat stages? Do you need something around the edge? Are you good from center? Do you want to be under a platform to play neutral? All those kind of things are very important. And then, of course, thinking about your opponent on the other side. Do they want to be under the center platform? Do they like comboing on platforms, right? Because even if you are a great character on PS2, that doesn't mean you want to play Mario there. You know what I'm saying? And from Master Byron, we have a video bringing back up the topic of refresh rate. So again, this is going to be just like 3 quicker topics that I'll, get out the video super quickly. But that is an interesting topic. I will also be doing a recovery tier list, which I can do on my stream later. So I will be doing that. That was like 7 of the suggestions. So I'll be doing that for sure, because I know I was making tier lists for a bunch of different things. But for refresh rate, so for those of you that are unaware, this topic kind of came up from Pinkfresh a couple years ago, where he was talking about a player's refresh rate. What that generally means is how often you are receiving new information to your brain and adjusting your strategies or like your positioning accordingly. And honestly, refresh rate is one of the ways that reaction and experience kind of meld together really well, right? Because you have, of course, your raw reaction time, which, you know, you can improve sometimes based on like your adrenaline levels, or, you know, picking out specific moves that you're reacting to, as opposed to I'm reacting to literally everything and honing into a couple of options that you see fit. But at the same time, a lot of those come with experience, right? I know the situations to look out for a zero suit grab. I know the situations to look out for, you know, Cloud wanting to limit side B, and things like that. So understanding when people want to go for these situations allow you to react to them a lot faster. And of course, there are a dozen, hundreds, thousands potentially of those situations between people SDIing and where they're DIing and where their flowcharts are and how they're playing neutral and when they're dashing, and so many little things, because you expect people to play in a specific way. When you have a bunch of experience against a character, you expect a Corrin to do very specific, you know, movement options or, you know, burst options, and then suddenly when someone like Shattuck starts playing movement very different, you become a lot less comfortable and your refresh rate goes down because you're unaware of what Shattuck and that movement wants to do. But if you're experienced against him, it'll probably be a little bit better. But so refresh rate in general is literally what comes down to experience, and you are able to recognize a lot more situations when you put your opponent in the same situation. It's kind of like how you can exploit habits without hard reading someone, where you can hit someone into like a position on the stage and you go, okay, cool, I'm ready for them to jump and I'm also ready for them to fall. Sorry, I hit my desk, that's why it shook. And then you kind of can just see the situations and, you know, react really quickly to when someone is going to do one of those two things, because you've put this same character or this same player even in this situation over and over and over again, so you know what the options realistically are. And then if neither of those two things happen, you're aware that something different happened, and then you are able to react and change your pressure or advantage state from there. It can also be disadvantage state, right? You can learn exactly how characters want to go for things like double jump up air callouts or double jump back air callouts, or if they're going to go for a dash under you parry into like up smash if it's a Fox player. And you can see people go for these specific things and then react accordingly, and react faster than you would if you weren't sure what was going to happen. Like, I definitely think that refresh rate is literally the melding, and it's kind of just like, you know, it's a concept of you're just like constantly seeing the game and you're aware of what's going to happen. Even like when sometimes people lose and it can be like handily, and, you know, the opponent will ask, oh, like, what could I have done better? And it's just like, oh, I was just ready for everything you did because the experience gap, or I know the matchup better. A lot of times knowing the matchup better is knowing all these different situations, so when they come up, you are ready for the answer. You already know the answer. You don't have to think, this character did a landing back air on my shield, what can I do? It's like, oh, they're gonna landing back air, that means I'm gonna do this, and you immediately have the answer. So you see the situation, see that they are likely to back air, read that, and then kind of go from there. And I hope that all made sense. And yeah, that is going to be about it for this one. Pretty short, just wanted to cover a couple of topics that didn't necessarily, I think, merit their own video. And again, I will be linking, or I will be making a new discussion post, and I will be linking it in the description. So for you $1, $5, and $10 members, that is going to be where you can talk to me about what you want me to cover in the next subsequent video that I do for this. So let me know, I would appreciate it. As always, social media, Stride, and partner stuff is down below, and I will see you all next time. Peace.